Welcome, everyone, to Hypnotic Big Brother Season 7, the anime. And let me just say thank you all so much for applying to this season. This app pool was more competitive than the past couple of seasons. We had a surplus of people, and we chose U16 to represent this season. And probably what I would like to say is going to be the biggest year for Hypnotic Big Brother yet. So, you guys are the first part of our master plan to make this the year of Hypnotic. And so, thank you all so much for taking time out of
You're
your
gonna sacrifice us.
next month and a half to playing our game, our silly little anime game. Um, I'm Jacob. This is Heather. Two of our other prawn members, Alex and Liz, will unfortunately be unable to attend this evening, but they'll be around. They'll be useful somehow. We're going to be reviewing all of the rules. This is essential listening. I know this is going to be boring. We're going to be here for a minute. If there's anything else I need to divulge to you afterwards, then we'll get into that. If anyone has any questions, by all means, please say or so in the little Zoom chat right over there. I'll answer them as we go along. If people have questions, you can ask the questions afterwards. All means. We just gotta go over the game rules. Let's do it. All right. We're gonna be here for a minute. So, first things first, there are three main Discord chats for you to be aware of. Of course, you all have been interacting, talking, and chatting in the house chat, where general conversation is encouraged between you and your other fellow house guests. What I will say, for the first time this season, the Spectators Lounge has access to the host chat. It's not particularly relevant to you guys, or it's going to interfere with your experience in the game, but give them a show. They're going to be watching it. So this is the first time where all eyes are going to be watching all of y'all. Second thing you guys got to be wary of is the announcement chat. Of course, where point announcements, updates, links will be posted by members of production chat. No house guests are allowed to message in there at any time, although you shouldn't be able to anyway with the permissions. But if for some reason you're able to, someone here let us know and let us know in their projects, and we'll get on that as soon as possible. And of
Yeah,
course,
that's
your
a
project.
that's a rule just in general. Like if there's any thing that you feel like you shouldn't be able to do, but you can, let us know. Like if you're like, I can message in this chat, let us know.
And then thirdly, you all have been settled into your prod chats. You'll do fun activities. This is where you'll be sending in your votes, take part in various competitions. You'll be sending answers to confessional questions, potentially doing VLDRs. You're gonna do a variety of things in your prod chat. We'll go over prod guests in just a moment, but those are the three things we gotta keep in mind. I feel like typically I don't need to do this, but I know there's a couple people who aren't so familiar with the Big Brother format. Just basic rules, just a quick recap. Every week begins with a competition called the Head of Household competition, where if you win, you will become the head of household, and you get to nominate two of your fellow house guests for potential eviction, which is code word for potential elimination. You will vote them off. The HOH, the two nominees, and three other randomly selected house guests will participate in the veto competition, in which the winner of this will get to choose either to use the power of veto on one of the nominees, forcing the head of household to name a replacement nominee, or choose to abstain, not to use the power of veto at all. Then at the end of the week, the final house guests, everybody who is not a nominee or the HOH will cast a vote on who they would like to eliminate from the game. In the event of a tie, the HOH will be the one breaking said tie. Then the process will continue, except the next week, you can't be HOH in back-to-back weeks. So the outgoing head of household will be ineligible to win the following HOH competition. At any given point in the game, at a certain point in the game, all evicted house guests will become members of the jury. In the event that you are evicted prior to the pre-jury, we're going to have you in a chat secluded. You will not have access to the VL just yet. We've had to implement it so where someone was removed from the jury and the final pre-juror had to take their place. This is a safety precaution. We hope that that's just a one in a million thing to happen. Please don't be the second time that's repeated. Please. But then the code of conduct. Although this is a game, we're all here to have fun, of course. There are still some important matters we want to go over first. Any and all instances of bullying, racism, sexism, homophobia, transphobia, or any other discriminatory actions will not be allowed in any capacity. Just keep things within the confinements of the game. Don't let things get personal, and we won't have any problems. And as a friendly reminder, we as production are people too, and there's a chance we will, of course, make a mistake or bring something into the game that you might not be a fan of, but we would still ask you to give us respect both as production members and as people. Absolutely no cheating will be tolerated during this game. This involves, but isn't limited to, discussing competition results before the competition ends, especially if we explicitly tell you do not talk about the competition with anybody else. Talking with evicted house guests about game-related matters, whether they're pre-jury or jury, it's irrelevant, and receiving information from the viewers' lounge, other evicted house guests, or prod guests about the game. If you are receiving information you would not be getting otherwise, that is wrong. You will not be allowed to screenshot or forward any messages given by a house guest to any other house guests. However, if someone says something funny or you're saying something spicy, you can share that in your prod chat. You can VLDR it. That we love to hear the tea. Copying the text from messages to send to other players is technically fine since there's no way to truly verify if that was actually sent to you by someone else, but just that's your prerogative. I mentioned prod guests earlier. You are allowed 2 guests in your production chat. These guests are only allowed to be in one prod chat, so please ask production and we will add them for you if they are free. And once you get evicted, that person, I guess for the sake of the prod guest, will not be able to join another one. So if I get evicted week 1, fuck y'all. Why the fuck y'all get rid of me? And they want to go into Heather's prod chat now, they can't do that. They were in mine, they can't be in someone else's. We have made all of your one-on-one chats already, and hopefully you should have access to them. Heather is taking care of all the roles and permissions right now. These chats include just
I am
you and one other
literally
player.
on the last 2 people.
Wonderful.
So
Okay, Heather Queen.
These chats include the 2 players, obviously, that's the chat is named after, as well as all members of production. If you would like to make an alliance chat of 3 or more players, add a member of production in your prod chat, or also could be in any of your chats, and we will get on that as soon as we can. You can also at us if you'd like to change the name of your one-on-one chats, like for a duo name. You will not be granted a VC for your alliance until you name the alliance. So if I make an alliance with me, Alex, and Heather, I can't get a VC until we name them the Three Stooges or whatever the fuck. VLDRs are viewing lounge diary rooms. I did not know that's what that stands for. I thought it was a viewer. Are also encouraged and allowed. So if you have anything you want the viewers of Hypnotic to know, type it out in your prod chat with the VLDR before it. Of course, the viewers have an obligation or responsibility to not leak anything to players in the game. So if there's something you're scared might get leaked into the game, maybe don't VLDR it, but just generally just keep an eye on that. If there are any issues within the game or any personal issues, please let us know in your prod chat. If you think especially prod should be aware of it, feel free to message us. We will take any concern, no matter how big or small you believe it is, as seriously as needed. Please don't hesitate to talk to us about anything. We want to make this a comfortable and fun experience for all. Please don't be scared that whatever you bring to us is irrelevant or you're being over dramatic about things. Now, challenges and competitions. As stated before, each week will consist of an HOH and a veto competition. There are 3 different types of formats for the competitions. Either they're live, and all the participants will schedule a time that they are all available to compete, and the competition will take place live here on Zoom. There should not be a live competition taking place on Discord unless like Zoom difficulties and whatnot. In the event that not everybody participating can agree on a time, we'll be going with what the majority votes for. So if everybody except for one person votes for 9 p.m. Eastern to be the comp, unfortunately, that's kind of where we have to go. And unfortunately, hopefully that one person can do the comp preemptively. We will let you know if the live competition can be accommodated to be done beforehand. There are semi-live competitions, so all those competing will schedule a time with a member of production where they will do their competition in a private call, primarily in their prod chats. We also have designated VCs for everybody, just with themselves and production. That's what they will be taking place. There may also be submission-based competitions where scheduling a time is not required, and you will instead send in whatever we request from you in a certain time frame, usually 24 hours after the announcement of a comp. And then the 24-hour competitions, where the competition will take place over a 24-hour period and will be ongoing for all 24 of those hours. The results of each house guest participating in each competition, along with the winner, will be announced publicly to the house following its completion. We are willing to do early results. What we typically do with the veto competition, for example, the veto winner has an hour after results to deliberate, discuss what they're going to do until they have to make their decision. In the event that we do early results, we are willing to negotiate, push the veto ceremony a bit further back to where it typically would be. Typically, the veto ceremony or veto results would be the deadline of the competition itself. You will not be penalized if you are unable to compete in a competition. Just let us know if that's the case if possible. You can't make it, personal obligation, have to abstain. Totally fine. Happens to all of us. Just let us know. Otherwise, you will receive a strike. If there are any discrepancies or any concerns regarding competition results, please let us know. We'll do our best to solve any issues that may arise. We have messed up results. We've gotten maybe given one person a point that maybe they shouldn't have, vice versa. Just let us know if we make any mistakes on your competitions. Now on to the not
We
so
are
fun part,
human.
because we are human. Evictions. Each round will commence with the eviction of one house guest from the game. Attendance for these evictions are not necessarily required, but they're highly recommended, especially since live HOH competitions will sometimes follow evictions. If you are unable to attend, again, please let us know in advance. You will be required to send in your vote ahead of time, and failure to do so will also result in a strike. During evictions, each house guest eligible to vote must send their vote in their prod chat, which will then be confirmed by a production member. We'll react to it. That's how you know that we got it. After everyone's votes are sent in, a production member will reveal the results. Here's what you do when you are evicted. As a whole, you'll be removed from the house chat and announcements chat, and you are not allowed to talk to any house guests still in the game about the game-related matters. If you are evicted prior to the start of the jury, as I mentioned earlier, you'll be added to the pre-jury chat. If you are evicted during the jury phase, you'll be added to a chat exclusively for jury members. Other jury members will slowly be added as they get voted off and the game proceeds, and you will be allowed to and encouraged to talk with other jurors about the game. Keep that conversation about the game within the chat, though. Like, I know some of you guys might be friends outside of here, which is totally fine. We trust you. There's no way we can monitor everyone's PMs, but please just be careful about what you talk about outside of the server. I know this is a long ways out, but at least two of you will be making it here to the finale night. It's the time to determine the winner. The finale night will occur on a call with the final two, all members of the jury. Finale night will begin by each of the final two house guests giving an opening statement to the jury about why they should be the winner. Be given 5 minutes. Each juror will then be given up to 8 minutes to talk to the jurors, address them however they may like. They can ask questions, compliment the finalists, give criticism strictly about the game, basically whatever they want, and they can concede their time at any point. Following each juror's time, the final two house guests will then be given a closing statement of 5 minutes each. The jury will then cast their votes in their process with who they want to win the season. Ideally, every jury member will cast their vote on finale night, and the votes will be read, and the winner will be crowned on that same night. Whenever the finale is, I know a couple people have asked when the season ends. It's really dependent on when the final two can actually schedule a time. We've had a season where it was just the day after the final three eviction. There's another season where it was a week between final three eviction and the finale. So please don't do that second thing and try to get that arranged as quickly as possible. And after the winner's crowned, we'll invite the pre-jurors, we'll do rewards, we'll have a reunion, all that fun stuff. And just a couple other general things. As said before, attendance at ceremonies is highly recommended, but not required. If you're unable to attend a ceremony, whether it be an eviction, a veto, or anything else that may come up, that's all right. We just ask that you let us know ahead of time and do a couple things for each ceremony. If you can't come to an eviction, send in a final plea or speech if you get evicted or if you're a nominee. Otherwise, send your vote to evict. If you can't come to a nomination ceremony, please send in a list of 3 house guests in the order you would like to pick them to compete in the veto comp, unless you get house guest choice. If you're a HOH, you're a nominee. Please be sure to send that. If you can't come to a veto ceremony, please send us what would you like to do with the veto in the event that you are the one to win it. That is required of you. Will not be if you will not be in attendance. Like, we really don't care if there's no way you're going to win. Like, even if you don't think you're going to win the veto, just do it just in case. Ceremony competition times will be determined based on when the most people are available. As I mentioned before, if you are unable to make it to a live competition, can be arranged. Please let production know. We'll be more than happy to accommodate for at any time that works on our ends. We're all very busy. We're short on staff. We only have 4. I know some prod teams have like 20 fucking million fucking people on them. It's only just the 4 of us. We'll try to make you guys work. We made it to 7 seasons, so clearly we've done something right. Anywho, strikes. None of you guys will be getting any of them, but that's on the off chance that someone here gets a strike. If a player is caught breaking the rules or doesn't follow the guidelines of the game, they will be given a number of strikes depending on the severity of their actions. If a player receives 3 strikes, they will be expelled from the game. They're done. They're complete. We have not had that situation yet. We've had someone get 2 strikes, but not 3. Please don't make us have to do this, of course. And here are some actions that could result in a player receiving a strike or multiple ones. If you don't let production know, you will be unavailable to participate in a competition. That's a strike. Failing to send in a vote at the end of a week. Failing to send trust rankings at the end of the week. That's another thing. In your prod chat every week, it is mandatory that you send in your trust rankings. Again, first of the series. I'll also be asking you guys questions. I want to hear the tea. You guys don't need to answer them if you can't so choose, but please send in your vote. Please send in your trust rankings. Discussion of scores during a semi-live competition. All those infractions are worth 1 strike. Sending screenshots or quoting conversations to other players, that you will concur 2 strikes. And receiving game information from the spectators lounge or anywhere else outside the game is 3 strikes. That is irreparable, irredeemable. That will result in immediate removal from the game. And inappropriate language, we'll be linking up the Big Brother rules to know what constitutes as inappropriate language. Clearly, some of y'all curse, so like whatever, or just behavior, just in general. The number of strikes will again depend on the severity of the situation. And quits and expulsions, no one really knows how quits work for the schedule, not even the real show. But if a player leaves the game through means other than getting evicted or something within the confinements or the format of the game, whether they quit or they were removed, here's how the events of the game will proceed. If a player leaves at the start of a round before an HOH is crowned, the game goes as normal. If an HOH is crowned before nominations, no change. The game continues as normal. If a player is HOH and chooses to quit, the round will be considered over. And the nominees, if there are any, will be safe. We have run into that specific circumstance last season after nominations, but before the veto ceremony, and the player was not a nom to begin with, there is no change. If they are a nominee in the pre-jury phase, the HOH will have to name a replacement nominee for that quitter, for the person who walks or the person that gets removed. And a veto extension may also be granted depending on the circumstance. And if it's during the jury phase, the eviction just simply is canceled and the round will be considered over. If it's after the veto ceremony and they're not a nom, game continues as normal. But if they are a nominee, the eviction is canceled and the game continues with the next HOH competition. And an important note, if a player chooses to quit the game during the jury phase, their spot on the jury will be determined on a case-by-case basis by production. Like if you leave for medical, personal reasons happening outside of the game, then you'll be more than likely to assume your spot on the jury than someone who kind of like leaves the game to like rage quitting because the game isn't going their way. Huh. That was 5 pages of rules. My goodness, we're finally done with that. Does anyone have any questions?
Drink some water. Drink
So
some water. Breathe through your nose.
So other than that,
does a solo cup have to be red?
let us know if there's okay. Actually, for any materials that you think don't specifically adhere to what we requested from you, let us know in your prod chat. If we say it counts, then yeah, it counts. If you gotta like fix that, good luck figuring that out. But yeah, just let us know if you're like, oh, I don't know if these cups are good enough. If I don't know these ping pong balls are good enough. If this is what you mean by writing your whatever the fuck. Just let us know in your prod chat. We'll be more than happy to answer your questions. Square or circle bottoms.
Really, guys?
That was in reply to Noah. I apologize.
It's a circle. It sounds like
Really, girl? I said, what did you call me?
circle bottom is great. Anywho, let me just I think that's it. Unless anyone else has a question.
So how does HOH work again?
Wonderful thing that you ask. So
I'm just kidding. I'm just
no, but I will say for this first head of household competition, this is a perfect segue into the twist of the season. All right, so this first competition is going to be semi-live. So again, you will have 24 hours to schedule a time with a member of production to do this challenge. No material is required, but maybe y'all don't want HOH the first round. Maybe I want something different. We're offering this new twist to you guys. It's called the Grand Line. Every week for the foreseeable future, instead of competing for the HOH key, you could choose to embark on a voyage through the Grand Line. Once a head of household competition is announced, you will let us know privately whether you actually want to compete for HOH or instead you want to head to the Grand Line. If you choose obviously to compete for the head of household, just proceeds as normal. But if you choose to compete for the Grand Line, you will still compete in the head of household competition, but your placement will be compared to all other house guests that say they also want to go to the Grand Line. The winner will earn the choice of one of 5 coveted devil fruits. You will not know what the devil fruit does until after you make your selection. And maybe it's an advantage in the game. Maybe it's a power of some sort. Clearly, the devil fruits have to be alluring in some way. And after you make your selection, this is a pirate's graveyard. So your boat can only handle one trip to the Grand Line. So when you want to go on the Grand Line, that will be your only opportunity to obtain a devil fruit. If you choose to go out there, you better come back out with treasure. In the event that the player who places highest of everyone in the competition, so technically they would win head of household, but they also opted to go to the Grand Line, the next highest placing person who went to the Grand Line will win the chance to pick a devil fruit instead, and that person will be the head of household. So if you don't want HOH and you really want a devil fruit, maybe you shouldn't do like too good, like good enough to get it, but not too good to where you win HOH by accident, because that will burn your ticket. So if you win HOH, then damn, you won't be able to go back to the Grand Line instead, and no one will ever know. We'll never express if that is the instance. Like if I win head of household and I accidentally went to the Grand Line and wasted my shot, then I won't announce, well, Jacob, because you also went to the Grand Line, you're the head of household instead, and then someone else will get it. Does anyone have any questions about the twist?
Wait, can you repeat? So you said something about can you repeat the part about if you win HOH but also went to the Grand Line?
So if you're first place in the competition,
What was the second part?
so you will be the head of household. You won't go to the Grand Line. So if me and Heather both compete, by one HOH, Heather goes to the Grand Line and I end up as the head of household. But in doing so, I cannot go back to the Grand Line again because you only have one opportunity ever to earn a devil fruit from the graveyard. From the Grand Line, what the fuck they call it, graveyard. Yes, Evelyn, exactly what Evelyn said. Thank you very much. Wait, if someone wins HOH and they can compete the following week, can they go to the Grand Line? No, because they can't compete in the head of household to begin with. There's no choice.
I'll be asking you some questions in my PMs, Mr.
Okay, well, by all means.
I think
Yeah,
you lost me
this
when you
is
said
very
double fruits.
confusing. I
The
hope
rules
there's
for
like
everything will
writing.
also be in the announcements chat.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah,
if you're
I hope
better
so.
with like reading than listening, I know everybody's different as well. Like I'm more of a reader too, so I get that. Do that and ask any questions you want.
I have a feeling we're gonna feel this out. We're gonna experience it and then we'll understand.
Yeah, I like zoned out for like 2 seconds. I came back and then I was like, "What is going on?"
What's
I
the
don't know
Grand
what he
Line?
just
So
said.
so
Megan just
basically you
woke
can't
up.
do both,
You can't do both. Yes.
right? You can only do one or the other.
Right. So this
So
is a
if
similar.
yeah,
So this
got
is
it.
a live competition. You guys will be, again, scheduling a time in your prod chats. When we announce the competition to you, you will then tell us if you want to win the head of household, you want to gun for it, or if you want to gun for the acquisition of a devil fruit, of a power, of an advantage of some sort. So yeah, we'll see you guys back here tomorrow for the results of the first head of household competition. And who knows, maybe the HOH has more power than we're saying they have.
When does it start?
Do you have a question, Marcel?
Yeah, I asked what if only one person goes on like the journey.
Then by default,
They
good
can-
gods! You have no competition. You win. But yeah, I think that covers everything. But best of luck, everybody. The competition starts 9:30. High key could start now after the recording is over. People really want to get the HOH out of the way. But thank you guys so much. Good night,
Thank you,
house guests.
Jacob.